On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Bronson returns to the WWE, Enzo Amore rants about MJF, and Eva Marie seemingly hints at her return to the WWE as well. Folks, we're hitting your favorite wrestling movies and wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Bronson Reed made a surprising return to WWE Raw this week. The former NXT North American champion made his comeback during the winner-takes-all ladder match between The Miz and Dexter Lumis. Reed's interference allowed the A-lister to turn the match outcome in his favor. The big man prevented Lumis from recovering the bags full of cash, and the former Jonah destroyed Lumis with a splash from the top rope. He then helped The Miz climb the ladder and win the match. So, man, okay, I have a lot of things to say about this, alright? Firstly, I'm so glad that Bronson Reed is back. I'm so happy, right? My first issue is the fact that he came back during the Miz and the Dexter Lumis feud, a feud that, oh my god, we were so close to it being over, and now, because Bronson Reed is back and he sort of inserted himself into this whole situation, I feel like this feud is now stretching out at least until like another pay-per-view or something, you know? Now I feel like the payoff needs to be Dexter Lumis versus Bronson Reed instead of Dexter Lumis versus The Miz, which, I mean, listen, for what it's worth, that match was actually really good. I don't really have anything bad to say about the match, right? It kind of started off a little bit meh, but then, you know, it kind of started picking up around the end, and I thought it was really good. My second issue is the fact that Bronson Reed came back, and again, okay, the thick boy has returned. I'm so happy, right? But he came back, and the crowd kind of just didn't really do a whole lot, you know? The crowd didn't really say anything. There wasn't much of a gigantic reaction, and I remember I was watching it, and I just could not, I was like, I had to pause it and just be like, that's Bronson Reed. So I had to go on Twitter, right? Because if there's anyone who's going to have any like strong, like unwavering opinion about wrestling, especially WWE, it's going to be the IWC, right? So I went on Twitter and I was like, what does everybody think about this? So I'm looking through the comments, and everyone pretty much had the same reaction I did of like, how come nobody really said anything when Bronson Reed showed up? And somebody was like, oh, it's because he was on NXT, right? And he never really made it to the casual fans. And it's like, okay, but that means that the people in the audience didn't watch NXT like at all, because you're telling me that like, because from what I heard, it seemed like 10% of the audience actually knew who he was, and the rest of them were like, who's this guy? Who's this really big guy that showed up? I don't know who this guy is. Bronson Reed, he's an absolutely fantastic wrestler, and I feel like the crowd did not give him the shine that he deserves, but you know what? He's back. That's what we really need to be talking about, right? Bronson Reed has finally returned, okay? It didn't seem like it was likely, especially in the McMahon era, but he's back, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. Next, we're going to talk about Enzo Amore and how he destroys MJF in a brutal rant. While making an appearance on Busted Open Radio, Enzo Amore, aka NZO, is confident that he would brutalize MJF on the microphone in 5 minutes. He believes that it'll trend #1 across the world. It's not even a question. We don't have to ask those questions, because if that's the truth of the matter, my phone is on. People know where to call me. People know where to find me. If you want to give the people that crap tomorrow, you'd be wasting a lot of time, money, and investment, because that's a bill that deserves to be built. I'm not taking anything away from other people who do great work on the microphone. I want to see other people eat. Generational talent. I had 10 years in this business. My first generation, my decade is done. I hope he made Burberry a lot of money, but he ain't seeing any of that money. I sold t-shirts that said certified G on them, and I made $1 million before I was 30 years old in this business. I didn't need contract disputes because I did that crap on a rookie contract with merchandise sales. Don't ever compare apples to oranges. Don't ever disrespect me. 5 minutes, brutalize him. You give me 5 minutes on a live microphone, I'm trending #1 in the world. When is the time you drew a 2? When CM Punk got there is when they drew a 2. If I show up on that screen, you're getting the #1 trend in the world, guaranteed, with or without MJF on the screen. I didn't have to be there when Cash showed up, and he trended, and I trended #5 on my couch. It wasn't Wardlow trending, it wasn't Cass, it was Enzo trending. Not WWE, not AEW, not MJF. There's no 3 letters that can hold me. I don't have to crap on people. I don't have to take cheap shots. I don't have to curse on a microphone in front of people. I don't have to. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Let me preface this by saying that when Ricky Starks was going to be in a program, like a very small program with MJF, I was a bit worried because I love Ricky. I love Ricky. I love Ricky Stark, and I know that he's fantastic on the microphone, but then when you put him in a ring with MJF, it's like, you know, it's like if you put like a little Pomeranian in front of like a Doberman. It's like, all right, this isn't gonna go. I'll tell you what though, that Pomeranian is gonna scream his head off, but the Doberman's not gonna move. I was a bit worried when Ricky Starks and MJF stepped in the ring, because I thought it was going to be an absolute wash, okay? And it turns out that it wasn't. Not only did it turn out that it wasn't, it turns out that Ricky Starks was actually able to outshine MJF to a certain extent, right? And that's really what made that promo so fantastic, is because everyone knew that Ricky Starks was fantastic on the mic, but nobody knew how fantastic he was on the mic. So with that being said, right, when you have a guy like Enzo Amore, and I don't want to hear now listen, I know he's an asshole. I know he is. This is pretty much on the level of CM Punk. They're guys who are really talented on the mic. They've, made a lot of history with, some of the companies that they've been with and everything. Some of the history is a little bit better than the other, give or take a few things. But overall, right, you can't deny that they are someone who attracts attention, right? You've got a guy like Enzo Amore, and he comes into the WWE, and when I tell you that this guy was over, I don't even know how to express how over this guy was, right? It's an understatement to say that this guy was over. I mean, he was constantly just popping the crowd with every single thing that he was saying. The fact that his mic skills were enough to sort of carry him into the hype, right? That he could just bring by himself speaks volumes to just who he is as a person, and just how he thinks of himself and how he carries himself on a daily basis, right? Me personally, I feel like if you put him in a ring with MJF, it would probably go a lot differently than you think. And that could be good or bad. And that's really what made me, that when I saw Ricky Starks, it made me really question what Enzo was actually going to do if he ended up in a ring with MJF. Now, is that ever going to happen? You never say never. I don't know. Anything can happen in the world of make-believe, okay? MJF and Enzo Amore could be in a ring tomorrow. We have no idea. But the point I'm trying to make is that I feel like there's a lot of people out there that look at Enzo and go, oh, that guy's a dickhead. He's going to get absolutely trounced. He's going to get destroyed. He's going to get absolutely flummoxed, okay, in the ring with MJF. But I don't know. I, for one, would be very fascinated if Enzo Amore eventually got in the ring with MJF. But listen, so far, there's nothing in the books for it, and only time will tell if it actually happens or not. Finally, we're going to be talking about Eva Marie seemingly hinting at a WWE return. It appears Eva Marie is eyeing a third stint with WWE. The real-life Natalie Eva Marie Nelson seemingly teased a WWE return by liking a tweet of Sean Sapp in which the reporter referenced more returns in the wake of Triple H's takeover of the promotion. Okay, jeepers, creepers and my peepers. Man, Eva Marie, Okay, well, listen, she is bad. I'm just gonna say it, I'm just gonna go out there and just throw that out there. Now listen, Eva Marie, the person, I'm sure she's absolutely fantastic, right? I'm sure she heals puppies, okay, and goes to orphanages. Eva Marie, the wrestler, no, thank you. I'm okay. That's all right. I appreciate it, though. That's really kind of you to, extend your olive branch into the WWE. But I'm good. Everyone's fine. We don't need any olives right now. We're olived out. We're olived out. Eva Marie, that's okay. She was here previously. This was around the Thunderdome era. Remember that? And she showed up and she was like, hey, I've got Piper Niven here. And then she was like, actually, that's a lie. I've got Doudrop here. And then, man, that was... and then she was like, and then she just kept going onto the microphone and was like, yeah, Piper Niven's gonna fight for me. And I'm really good. And then Piper Niven was like, whatever, and then left, and then, really, a match happened, and then that was it, and then she left, and nothing else really happened, and that's really how you can sum up Eva Marie's career. She was here, she was on the mic, she didn't really have a lot of good matches, and then she left. Listen, Eva Marie is allowed to come back. I'm not gatekeeping or anything, right? Okay, in the world of wrestling, she's better than me. I don't want to say hopefully she doesn't come back. That seems really rude, but she wasn't good. So, maybe she should stay away from the ring. What do we talk about? Bronson Reed made his return. Great, I'm all for this. I'm incredibly happy about it, and I can't wait to see what he does. I wish the crowd reacted a little bit more. Jeez Louise, crowd, could you wake up? Boys, can you open your eyes? Look, come on, what's happening here? Enzo Amore rants about MJF. Listen, never say never about them potentially meeting in the ring at some point, okay? I don't want to sit here and say that it's never going to happen. I'm incredibly curious to see if that is something that Tony Khan is potentially looking at. I would love to see it. Listen, again, Enzo Amore is a very interesting man, and you can't deny that he was over like Rover in the WWE, and he's really good on the mic, okay? Like, I don't want to sit here and say that he's like better than The Rock or anything, but like, he could probably go toe to toe with him. He will lose, but he could probably get in a few jabs and be pretty good. Give Enzo Amore a chance. That's all I'm said all that to say this. Give Enzo Amore a chance. That's all I'm saying. And even Marie is seemingly hinting at a return. No, don't do that. Just don't. I can't even sit here and pretend like that would be great. It wouldn't be good. She should not return at all. If she comes back, right, it'd be great to see her in a manager role. That'd be awesome, but I don't want to see her in a ring because it would be bad. That's pretty much all I have to say about that, folks. That's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.